they end up calling Child Protective Services on her and saying that the daughter cannot go home with the family. I was crying. Like, I just like, it's a very like unfortunate and like just very sad situation. Hey friends, my name is Bindu. Welcome back to my channel. Today I just kind of had this idea of doing a makeup get ready with me. I'm getting ready for church and wanted to show me doing my makeup, as well as just talking about a documentary that I just watched last night. I love documentaries, and just kind of providing like my thoughts and insight on it. So let me know if you like these kind of videos. I can talk about other things, and I really want this to be interactive. I want you guys to tell me what your thoughts are. Like, really comment below. I will respond to your comments and let's have a conversation. I love having like deep discussions about something that I read, a podcast I listened to, anything. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's go ahead and get to the video. Good morning, y'all. It's 9:30. I need to be out of this house by 10:30, but I'm about to do my makeup for church, and I decided to record it and also just do like a little chat. But I'm using a lot of Nars products today. I'm trying the soft matte concealer because I do have the soft matte foundation, and you know, normally for church we just do a little tinted moisturizer, but we're just gonna do the whole thing. We're gonna do the foundation today, do a full little beat. I get to use my new blush that I bought. So last night, well, yesterday, I watched this documentary on Netflix called Take Care of Maya. And I'll try not to tell like too much, but I'll give you a little synopsis. So pretty much it's about this family with 2 kids, but it's really based off of like one daughter, the oldest daughter. She has this disease called CRPS. And let me look up complex regional pain syndrome. And according to Google, it says that the exact cause of complex regional pain syndrome isn't well understood, but may involve abnormal inflammation or nerve dysfunction. And from what I got, I have not done my research on this, so this is just like what I got from me watching the documentary. And so from what I got from it was like people with that disorder just feel pain like at a higher level, like their pain is like magnified. And I know one thing that they said in the documentary was if you fall, you hit something, or you hurt yourself, like, you know, normally over time you start to get better and it doesn't hurt as bad. But with this, the pain progressively gets worse as time goes by, as opposed to getting better. But so the pain gets worse, and they like barely could find a treatment for it. So finally, like, they went to go see this provider who gave them like, I guess even like essentially like a sense of hope. And the only thing that was working, so apparently like her pain, when they say it was magnified, it was to the point like she was like, even just like a little touch of a feather would like feel like you're getting stabbed by a knife. This is what the documentary said. Now, don't, you know, I'm just a messenger. You know, it was, like I said, she was in a lot of pain. And I'm not sure I necessarily understand. Like I said, I didn't do my research on this yet, and I had never heard of it. But her like feet was like turning in. She wasn't like able to walk, and I think sometimes even like use her arms and things like that. The doctor that they went to go see recommended that she take ketamine like at very high dosages. I think there was even a point where the ketamine, like the dosage that they were initially giving her, wasn't really working. There was like some treatment where I'm giving y'all context because I want y'all to understand what I'm about to say, in case you haven't watched it yet. But based off the doctor, like other treatments that he did for other kids, he suggested that she get put, like, I guess it was a treatment where you gave like even higher doses of ketamine, but like I guess it would just be hard to do that while someone was awake, so they would induce a coma. But I guess the treatment's only improved in Mexico too, so they had to go to Mexico to get it done. But like after she came back, I think they put her in like a 6-day coma or something like that. And like after she got back, she started to get better again. So my point is, it seems like the ketamine was working. So then after that, I think they said like, you know, at this point for like a year, she didn't have any issues. Like you know, she was better, all the things. So at this point, I think she might have still been taking like ketamine at home to like kind of control her pain, because I guess she still kind of had some pain or whatever, but she was able to walk, her legs weren't like turned in or anything like that. And then I guess like a year later she relapsed and, you know, started to have the pain and all this other stuff. So she goes, her parents take her to the hospital. I guess her dad was with her. Her dad, like, you know, takes her to the hospital, calls her mom. So her mom, you know, her mom's also a nurse, let's say that. So her dad, like, you know, calls her mom so her mom can, like, you know, talk to the nurses and stuff like that. And she's telling them, like, you know, give her ketamine because, like, that's what's been working. And I guess she was saying, like, the dosing. They end up calling Child Protective Services on her and saying that she cannot, the daughter cannot go home with the family. And y'all, I was crying. Like, I just, like, it's a very, like, unfortunate and like just very sad situation. Yeah, so she ends up like not being able to even go home with her parents. They're just keeping her, you know, in the hospital. And okay, so apparently like the doctor who initially prescribed her being on ketamine, she went to 2 different providers who put her on this, and I guess they were like maybe specialists and knew about this. But what's the crazy thing is, even her mom even said that when she was like talking to the providers at the hospital, they didn't even know, they had never heard of the disease, the syndrome. So I think for me that is just like, okay, well, why aren't you listening to the mama? You know what I mean? The mother, they say that it's Munchausen by proxy, which, if you don't know what that is, it's pretty much medical child abuse. Like, it's saying that like a parent is pretty much medically harming the child, like based off like they have some mental condition or whatever, to where like they want to see the child like sick and in the hospital, and like in their mind they really believe they're caring for the child. If you don't know about it, you should definitely look it up. And if you haven't watched, I can't think of what the Hulu show is called, but the Gypsy Rose story, that was her situation and her mom was making it up. It's a really good show and they turned it into a show. I mean, obviously there's like interviews with her too. They end up going through just like this battle, like the courts involved, the judges, all of this. And then the doctor at the hospital apparently, you know, she didn't believe it at all. And like, you know, they have a caseworker there that's sitting with her, and the little girl's confused. Like, it's like a lot. So it's to the point so that the mom cannot even talk to the daughter. Of course, like the mother is like turned up, like very upset about this, and you know, is telling them like, if you don't give my daughter this treatment, like she could, like, you know, she's relapsing, you don't give her this treatment, she's like gonna start to, you know, to deteriorate and die. And this is based off of what her doctors that have been treating her for this condition are saying. The more that like she said, it just got worse. Like, they were like, she's trying to force her daughter to take this medication. Like I said, it just started to get worse. So, you know, like I said, let me not tell the entire documentary because I'm sure you guys want to go watch it. So let me just get to the point. But here's what I have to say. Okay, so let's talk about just the hospital perspective, right? I feel like it's a really hard situation because I can definitely see, to a certain extent, why the doctor and the people at the hospital were operating in the way that they were, right? Like, but and I feel like that's like a hard thing to see something and like kind of wonder, you know, should I report this? And then you end up, like, if you end up not reporting it and like down the road you hear on the news that like this child is dead because of her parents, and it's like, it's a child that you treated. So I can definitely understand like providers like not wanting to like walk away from that situation and wanting to just go ahead and like take the next steps. But I just feel like after hearing what the mom like has to say, and apparently the mom has to get an evaluation too from a psychologist, and they said that it wasn't Munchausen by proxy. They said what she was suffering was like, I think like situational depression or something like that, based off the fact that she wasn't able to see her child. But it wasn't that. Like, the mom kept documentations of like every visit and things like that, which doesn't mean anything because Gypsy Rose's mother did too. But she was very thorough, like, for sure. And I guess I also just think, like, if that was the case, even it's just, I feel like there's different things that if they looked at, they would have been like, okay, well, maybe this is the case. Like, you talk to the other doctors and like they're the ones saying like, yes, I prescribed her this because of that, and this is what I do for like my other patients too. So I just don't understand like why that wasn't enough if she does have like that diagnosis. But like I said, I can to a certain extent understand what was going through the providers' heads. But I think like people just have to be careful, because then what ends up happening is patients end up being like afraid to go to the hospital because they think, oh, if I go, like, they're gonna say that I'm harming my child. That's the first thing there. And I don't know the protocol of like, you know, can you sit things out? 'Cause I don't even know how long they like set it out before immediately calling for child protective services. Like, I don't know. That I do not know the answer to. So I don't know the protocol. Like, can you sit and watch for a little bit? Like, let's ask more questions. And I don't know what they did. I don't know. So I can't really speak on that. But I'm trying like I don't know how to like get to my point without giving more away. But let me just say, so it just got like worse to the point like they had somebody like sitting there with the daughter, like a social worker, and even like monitoring the conversation with the mom and the daughter. And I feel like, okay, dang, y'all didn't want her to see her. Like, okay, I get it. But, like, girl, let her talk to her mama. And let me just also say, so, like, and the reason that I can, to an extent, understand, like, the thoughts of, like, the providers and things like that is because I talked about how, like, I used to be a sitter. And I plan on making another video about this. But, yeah, like, I was a sitter for a little bit, and you know, there's different cases that I would have to sit for, and you know, sometimes it was something that was considered to be child abuse. And then, I mean, there was often times where I was sort of like, I don't know, like I don't know if I've seen it to this extent. Like, there's definitely been times where like there were some situations where I was like, this is definitely, I believe, to be like child abuse. And then there were some times where it was like, you know, the hospital was like, okay, this is just protocol, so this is why we're doing this. And but I don't think it was ever like to that extreme. Like, I've seen cases where the parents, like, the baby's arm broke, and I can't think of at the moment like what it's called, but like there's certain things that like happen where like I guess if you lift the baby's arm a certain way or whatever, like it could cause it to break. But they want to make sure, like, was it an accident or did the parents try to do this? And so like sometimes there's like protocol and like there's an investigation that they have to go through. But with that, you know, in those instances, usually, I don't know about all situations, but they don't make the parents leave. Like, the parent can still stay in there, but there's also going to be a sitter in there with them. And, you know, they go through whatever they have to go through, and, you know, then they can tell the parents, okay, cool, like, you're good to go. You can take the child home after we've, like, investigated it. But I think even that is probably hard for a parent too. Like I said, I've been in there with the parents and they're just like, this is crazy. Like, I wouldn't hurt my child, things like that. But then there's some that are like, okay, like, I get it. Like, if I was hurting my child or if there was someone hurting them or whatever, you know, I can see, you know, why they would do this. But some of those cases, like, I saw it through and I saw them be able to take their kid home. But then there's some that I didn't. So I don't know, like, what ended up happening. But my point is, like, this happens, and like there's other like ways I think to deal with it than just immediately being like, you never get to see your child again. Like, that to me is insane. So yeah, are we done with the hospital point of view? Like I said, I can get as a provider like why you would think this, why you would want to like make sure that you're doing your due diligence, but I just feel like it's a very unfortunate situation. And also, come to find out, well, okay, let's talk about the one story first with the little girl Maya, where, you know, like I said, it just got worse to where they, you know, they wouldn't let her talk to her child and things like that. And like there was times where like she would have a conversation, and like, in my opinion, this is just my view, not yours, or it has to be anybody else's, but In my opinion, I don't think the mom was really doing anything wrong in the conversation. Like, I don't. But like, then the social worker would report and say, the mom was having inappropriate conversation with the daughter. You know, I think that we should just even prevent her from, like, you know, talking to her. And I think at that point, like, the mom was just kind of just like over it. And she, like, you know, wrote this note saying how she couldn't like live like this and things like that. And the mom ends up, I don't know if I can say that on here. The mom ends up, you know, not being here with us anymore. I don't know if I can say the word I want to say, but the mom ends up like not being here with us anymore. And so when the mom does that to herself, apparently the whole point of her doing it, like in her letter, is that like, okay, I know that if my daughter stays in that hospital, she is going to just continue to get worse until she is no longer with us. So she was like, okay, if she does that to herself, then she's out of the picture since she's the bigger issue. Because it was like, they were saying it was the mama, really not the dad. So she was like, so the mom thought that was her only option to get her daughter out of there so that she could continue to get the other treatments that she needs to survive, because she didn't really feel like they were doing anything at that hospital. And so she was like, you know, she thought, she literally, like, she said in the letter, like, if she did that, then okay, like, they'll give her daughter back. Which is really sad, like, that she thought that was her only option. But made them, like, you know, afraid to go to hospitals. And I know they probably wondered, like, dang, if I just wouldn't have came here, we wouldn't have been in this situation. Like, maybe we picked another hospital. So then the daughter ends up eventually, you know, getting to, you know, come home after her mom is gone. But like, she's like, you know, she's very sad because like her mom is gone. Duh, like, why would she not be? You know what I mean? And so, like I said, it's just a really sad story. But then what ends up getting worse in the stories, other families come through from the same hospital with the same provider, with the same doctor, saying the same thing happened to them. And it was like immediately, you know, no questions being asked. There were some people who like did jail time. Like, I think one person was like, one of them, they said like 300 days. I feel like one of them said like 5 years. Like, and I might be making that up, but it was definitely one where it was like it was a while that they were in jail. And that sucks, man. So this was not like a one-off situation. But yeah, these families end up like saying, yeah, I went through the same thing. And so it was just, like I said, this was not like an isolated event. Like, this doctor was doing this to a lot of families and really just causing disruption in their homes when they came just to make sure that their children were okay. Like, things happen. And then to me, it's also like, I know like you can't, I feel like as a provider, like, it's a lot, and like you have to try to use your best judgment. And I know like I can't say like, oh, it was the first time, because I know you have to like be careful with that, because if you say it's the first time, then the next time the person may not make it in there because they could be dead. So I definitely, you know, understand. But like, I just want to like, what protocols are in place? Like, what are y'all doing to where you feel like what steps are in place for things like this? Because why is it immediately, I don't know, I feel like it's not just on the hospital, it's on like, you know, social workers, social services, and whoever else is involved in this. And like, you can't always be like, okay, because this person's a doctor or has this degree, like they're always 100% right. And I also think that providers need to be able to be humble to say when they are wrong as well. Like, I think to me that is scary to have a provider that's like, no, I'm right about everything. Like, no, you're still learning too, and it's really okay. We gotta do better. We gotta do better, because like, it's unacceptable. And like I said, the fact that all those other families came through and was like, yeah, like this happened to me. Our family got torn apart. People like had to try to like pay for lawyers. And then there were some people that said that like, they just went along with like, I guess it's a case plan or something like that they put them on in order for them to get their child back. But like, now it's like on their record that they did this. And it's because like, they know they didn't do anything, but it's like, they know like if they try to like, you know, push it or fight back, like the hospitals and, you know, people have like amazing lawyers, and like, they're not going to win against them, and they don't have the money to pay for the type of lawyers that they have. Which is sad, man. It's so sad. And yeah, so like that's like absolutely terrible. And like I said, from like just the parent perspective, like it makes people afraid to go to doctors. So even the girl Maya was like, I'm afraid, I'm 100% afraid to go to any hospitals or doctors, like, you know. But may her mother, you know, rest in peace. And I hope that they do, you know, get what they deserve, what they're looking for, what they need when they do go to trial. And I hope that the provider, you know, if she allegedly did these things, I hope that she learns from this. Like, to me, the fact that there's so many families, it means like you're just walking around like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do, and I run this, and you have like no remorse for it. Like, I don't know, you would think like for one of those families, she would have thought to herself like, oh, dang, okay, let me, you know, rethink what I'm doing, because something is like off here. Like, I don't know, y'all. Like I said, it was just a very like sad story. So tell me what y'all think. Like, even if you are not like a provider or planning to be one, I want to hear from everybody. Like, please tell me what you think. I thought there was another point I wanted to make here, but tell me, like, I don't know, what would you have done in the situation? Did you watch the documentary? Do you plan on watching it? Tell me what you think. And it's just also just sad, like, seeing how like defeated the family felt in the end, like the scene where they like left the courtroom and the judge was saying like he wasn't sure if they were going to be able to, like, you know, try the case, and like just kept pushing everything back. And you know, the kids like went home and just like cried. The girl was over it. Even her brother was over it, because they want justice for their mom too, because they feel like, you know, she was in this fight too, and they were just making her to be like this like terrible person that she was not. Like, she was just trying to help her daughter, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I also just feel like, dang, look at the mother's like record, like as a nurse. And I mean, and that is also something that like you gotta take with a grain of salt too, and you can't like 100% rely on that, because you can't say, oh, because she's a nurse, because somebody could be harming their child, and people are like, oh, well, they're a nurse, so like, no. But so that's not what I'm saying. But dang, I just feel like there's so many things that like, y'all, they could have considered, that they could have looked at, and I just don't feel like anyone was really doing, like, I don't know, like I think it was the hospital played a role, the department of like, I don't know what the department is called where they live, social services, child and family services, DCFS, I'm not exactly sure what it's called there, but like, dang, bro, like there's more that they could have done. Oh, apparently like the other people that experienced this from the provider can't really try to like sue or file a lawsuit or anything like that, because as they chose to do the case plan. And I know they probably regret it, but apparently it was like after everything was done is when all these families, like, I guess a reporter was like working on the story, and then the families were like, oh, this was my situation too, like this is what happened with me. Oh, you know, they have a support system, but it's like the mama is gone. Wish that, you know, that wasn't the case, and you know, she would have come out of this and then been able to, like, you know, fight back. Now time for Le Blush. I don't know, it's not really picking it up like that right now. And then of course, I wouldn't be me if I didn't still go through and highlight. I think I like it. I think I could have gone a little bit heavier if I wanted to, but I think I like it. Okay. It's 10:43, y'all. Church starts at 11. It's like 20 minutes away. I need to leave like now. If I can run in here by 10:50, because I'm not stopping to get coffee or anything like I normally do, then I'll be like 10 minutes late, which isn't ridiculous, but also I don't want to miss praise and worship. But anyways, I wanted to come back on here and just show you guys what it looks like. So I'll link the products I use below, but this is what it looks like, and I think it looks good. I did my lashes and lips off camera, and I did my lashes using the Kiss Falscara, like individual lashes. I'll make another video doing that, but you know, we was running late, so we had to just like we had to just like get it together real quick. But this is me. This is me. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, let me know your thoughts. And if you want me to do any other videos like this, recommend other documentaries or shows that you think that I should watch, and maybe we can talk about it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.